have some big news right now. We have some terrible breaking news coming. We have some really big news tonight, and we have another terrible breaking news up. We have some scary news right now. We have some big news right now. We have some terrible breaking news coming. We have some really big news tonight, and we have another terrible breaking news up. We have some scary news right now.
Black joy. The fact that black joy even exists as a concept in the world is miraculous to me. Asians are no good at joy. We are good at working hard and being diligent and doing our best, but not joy. Colonizers too. Rich lives, no joy. We should never have hooked our stars to theirs. But black people, especially black Americans, are the best at joy. You've turned it into an art form. I know it came from terrible hardship that you've turned into soul and then into joy. And we, Chinese people, we just turn that hardship into more hard work. But I know you can't give it to us. We have to go out and earn it for ourselves, just like you did. Joy is a puzzle for every human being, and it's not free. When I ask my black friends where their joy comes from, they inevitably shake their heads and just repeat, "You can't let them take it away from you." That's what it's not. But what is black joy?
Abolish abortion 100% across the board. Over 1 million lives will be saved every year.
You can save 8 lives with the donation.
You can save 1 million by abolishing
and
abortion.
up to 75 lives with tissue donation.
Yeah, 1 million lives every year you could save by abolishing abortion. That looks delicious. Where'd you get that?
I got it from over here.
I'm gonna have to stop by that and get some. What's the first word that comes to mind when you hear the name Donald Trump?
I guess you said first word. I can't think about it. It was indifferent, so
Different?
yes.
Okay.
Ignorance.
Ignorance.
Yes.
Okay. Why does that come to mind?
I feel like he doesn't really understand what he's really causing, trouble he's causing. I think a lot of things are just reactionary, and because of that.
All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo-Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, and that is who the world English calls God. Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation, and that is who the world also ignorantly calls Jesus, a so-called black man, who, by the way, only came for the Israelites, all right? Which brings us to our discussion / topic this evening tonight. What is black joy? All right? Because that was the question that was conveyed throughout the clips that was put together to show you that black joy is nothing but mirth, okay? And the time that we should be mourning. The people are out having a good time, which in itself is nothing wrong, all right? But on top of having a good time, they're proud, all right? That what? They are flourishing, that they could do whatever they want, that they could be wicked, and that they could all film it and put it on camera, okay? There's no shame in their game, all right? And then you had the Asian lady which I perceive to be scoffing and mocking, asking what is black joy, because the Asians work hard and they would like to have black joy. Well, no, you don't, okay? You don't want black joy, and I think you know that, but you just saying it to be smart, all right? Black joy is the void of light, okay? It's not knowing who you are. It's settling for mediocre at best, okay? In another man's kingdom, all right? Trying to find some type of reality to relate to other than your culture and your heritage, all right? And returning back to it and embracing your ethnicity, your nation, your tribe, all right? Which is what? Yasharallah. And whatever prospective tribe you come out of Israel, whether it's Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Simeon, Issachar, Naphtali, all right, Zebulun, whichever tribe, that's what being an Israelite is, okay? And that's what having pride is, not dancing and prancing around like some, minstrel instrument for the amusement of these other nations, okay? So I typed in the word black and the connotations that come along with it, and the AI view overview says the color black has dual connotations. And not really, but they thrown on it to make it feel more relatable and palatable to the people, to keep them in a dumbed down state. So it says the color black has dual connotations, representing both negative qualities like death, evil, despair, and mourning. That's it. Now they're trying to tag on and put a positive meaning on it to keep the people, in that dumbed down, docile state, to continue to allow them to believe that it's okay being called black. When there's no history, there's no place that you could go that's called black. There's nothing that you can hit your wagon to that's black except for death, mourning, evil, and despair. No matter how this man tried to dress it up and put it on and say you can be a black American. It says, and a positive attribute such as power, elegance, sophistication, wealth, and authority. Well, if that was the case, if we were black and we were all of that, we would be in our own land. You see, we would have our own rules and regulations. But we don't, because why? We're in captivity, all right? There's nothing that you should be that enthusiastic of or over, especially being called black, which has that negative connotation attached to it. It says historically, it signifies darkness and the unknown. See? That's historically. It's just starting to take on this connotation in the modern day to make you, 2/3 feel more at ease at being oppressed under this man's yoke, okay? It says, but in modern context, particularly in fashion, it conveys formality and luxury. Its meanings is culturally dependent and can vary, encompassing themes of good and evil or the mystery of magic. Okay, and there's nothing good that's coming out of the being called black or anything that's related to black, especially black joy. Okay, goes on to say negative connotations, death and mourning. See, these are the connotations that's associated with black. It says funerals, absence of light, linking it to grief, sadness, and death. You see? And that's exactly what they want when they call us black Hebrew Israelites. They want that to be linked to what? The void of light, wickedness, evil, despair. That's why they put that connotation on black Hebrew Israelites. Black, black, black. See, it's a psychological thing they trying to do to get the mass, the other people, to see us as something negative. Black, black, black Hebrew Israelites, black Hebrew Israelites, black joy, black Americans, black this, black that. All right? And then on the other hand, you got white, which is the opposite of black. Okay? Light, pure, righteous. You see? It says despair and pessimism. The absence of light can evoke feelings of melancholy and despair, if I'm saying it right. Impurity. In certain moral contexts, black can symbolize impurity or a morally soiled state. And that's the condition, that's the state our people are in. That's why they have the connotation of black. And no matter how they try to make it seem like it's royal and elegant, they can't shake that disdain off of it. Okay? And we're going to be looked at as black until Yahushua returns. Okay? But to the elect that's turning back from that blackness and embracing our heritage, our culture, we are indeed the light. All right? We have returned to the marvelous light. All right? Which is this word, this truth. And this is why them devils hate us, man. All right? This is why Esau, Edom, and the other nations disdain us, man. Okay? So we ain't going to really go into the positive connotations because we know none of those apply to us. But let's look at culture and contextual meanings. Good versus evil. Black is often used in opposition to white to symbolize the eternal struggle between good and evil. And I'll let you ponder for a second and think which one is good and which one is evil. You figure it out? Evil is associated with black and good is associated with white. It says mystery. It can also represent the unknown, the mysterious, and even the magical aspects of life. Strength and defiance. And modern, we ain't worried about the modern context because we know exactly why they put those modern contexts into place to keep the people dumbed down. But we see the negative connotations that go along with it because why? This is what is attached to our people because they haven't fully embraced their heritage, their culture, which is not black. Where's the land black? See, you don't have anything to relate or to tie yourself to. All right, so you become a what? An African American, a black this, a black that. All right, same thing with the Northern Kingdom. All right, you become a Spanish person, a Hispanic. None of that goes back to your heritage or your culture. Okay. So we see the little mind games that Esau Edom plays by putting these names, these tags on the children of Israel. Okay. And what do Jake have to be so joyful about? What's so good about being black? The void of light, death, mourning, despair, evil. See? But that's just our people, okay? That's just our people. They won't get it until it's too late. So let's go to Ecclesiastes 7 in verse 1. It reads, a good name is better than precious ointment, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. Verse 2, it is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. See, our people are in the wrong state of mind. They in this black joy state, as if they got it all figured out. Little do they know, there's a judgment coming, okay? There's things that they can't even imagine and wrap their mind around that's getting ready to come to the earth. They're not going to understand till it's too late. It says, it is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. See? This is why we're not in that black, joyful state, okay? This is why you won't see us out and about filming and recording ourselves if we do go out and step out to have a time or unwind. You ain't going to see us recording it because that's showing your proudness, man. Why would you record something and put it on social media for the whole world to see? Okay? You go out, you may listen to some music, you may go out and have a drink at a bar or what have you, or a lounge or what have you, but you ain't going to upload it and put it on YouTube or social media platforms. You may go on a vacation. All right? But you're going to keep those to yourself. If you do take pictures or whatever, you're going to keep that to yourself. You ain't going to put it on the internet for the whole world to see. As if you got it going on, man. And you still here subject to payments and in captivity. It says sorrow is better than laughter. See? So this is why we not in that hee ha ha good time joking around, having a blast, knowing that all hell's about to break loose. It says, for by the sadness of the countenance, the heart is made better. What is the heart? The mind. See, we already getting in that state of mind that, hey, the shit's about to hit the fan. All right? We talking about famine. We talking about the sword. We talking about pestilence. All right? You ain't going to be hee ha ha in that time. You're going to be looking to find something to eat, how to get out of danger, how to, take care of yourself. We going to see is you're going to be recording and putting that shit up on the internet. But knowing our people, they probably will. All right? It says the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning. This is where our focus is at. All right? Getting prepared for what's getting ready to come down the pike. Jacob's trouble. But the heart of the fools is in the house of mirth. This is why they can have black joy. This is why they can continue to think nothing of it. Oh, that's just those black Hebrew Israelites, hating. Don't want nobody to have fun. Don't want nobody to have a good time. We didn't say you couldn't have a good time, okay? But why are you so proud to the fact that you putting and posting shit up on the internet and other social media platforms for the whole world to see? If you take pictures, take them for your own personal use. You ain't got to put them up for everyone to see as if you got it going on, all right? When we still in captivity. It says the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools. See? It's better to hear the rebuke of the wise, which is why the Lord has set up his servants, the prophets, to rebuke and to show you your transgressions so you can turn back before it's too late. But you say no, you will turn your head and turn your ear at it and do what? Hear the song of fools. I want to dance. I want to jump around. I want to be a minstrel, okay? Entertainer, okay? It says it is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools. For as the crackling of thorns under a pot, so is the laughter of the fool. This also is vanity, right? Because our people don't know what's getting ready to come down. They don't know what's getting ready to go down. They don't know this government shutdown is finna really get things popping. They don't know that these riots is finna allow troops to come in their prospective towns and cities and neighborhoods. They don't understand a famine is being orchestrated. They don't understand that this shit ain't going back to normal. They still dancing and having a good time like everything is all good. Like it's 1999. And this devil's sharpening his tools, man. Getting ready to come in like a flood. It says, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroys the heart. Just give them a couple of $1,000. Give them a stimulus check. They'll forget all about their miseries. They'll be out there partying, having a good time, and then we can send whoever we need to send in and let them, take care of business. It says, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. And the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. See? So this is what we're doing. We're suffering, but it's in what? Patience. Okay? Because why? We understand that Yahushua is getting ready to return. All right? And we want to be found doing the work. Okay? We don't want to be found out and about lollygagging and having a good time and, enjoying the song of fools. Meanwhile, Yahushua getting ready to return. All hell's getting ready to break loose. All right? And you have no clue or no idea. You in the wrong state of mind. You should be in the house of mourning. I want to be in the house of spirit, in the house of the spirit of mirth. I want to go out, have a good time, dance around like a fool, upload the videos, put it on, the social media platform so I can get likes and subscribes and everything else. Meanwhile, this devil's sharpening his horns, man. Okay? You get ready to shut all this shit down. All right? and implement the mark of the beast. And then what? What you gonna do then? You don't even have any clue of what to expect or how to act once this thing really takes off. All right? And we done told you. This is Proverbs 1:20. It says, wisdom warns. Wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse. In the openings of the gates in the city, she uttereth her words. How? By the servants, the prophets, all right? And the chief concourse, all right? The places of business, all right? These cities, these towns, telling our people to turn back for it's too late. Saying, how long, ye simple ones, will you love simplicity? See? Just give Jacob venue or give him some type of festival. And they're going to forget about all they heartaches, they pains, they miseries. Just let them go out and unwind. You see? Give them a cruise. You see? Give them a stimulus check so they can go on a cruise. And they don't care what you did to them. All right? You could have pushed they nana or they papa down and they'll forget about it. Just give them a few $1,000s, man. They don't care. You see? Says, how long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning. See, they delight in it. The house of mirth, the song of fools, they delight in it. And fools hate knowledge. They don't want to take the rebuke because they look at it as hate. You just hating. You just mad because you can't go out and have fun. You just mad because you can't do it. See, that's the mindset of a 2/3 scoffer, man. We could care less because we understand the importance of what's getting ready to go down. All right, and we want to put ourselves in the best position for when it does go down. That we have the names to call on, that we've done the work, that the Lord hears and answer our prayers. And we'll have a hedge and protection around us. It says, turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. This is why the servants, the prophets, are important in these last days, because before judgment comes, the Lord is giving you that alarm, that siren, that warning through his servants, the prophets. All right, so everything is going to be justified when judgment and all hell breaks loose. It says, because I have called and ye refuse. See? How did he call? Through his servants, the prophets. He didn't just yell out and everyone heard a voice. No, he raised up men that will go out and prophesy and tell the people before all hell breaks loose to turn back and to repent before it's too late. It says, because I have called and ye refuse. I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. See, only the elect is going to take heed to the warnings. Okay? And they're going to live a peaceable life, even if it seems boring to the average person. You see? It says, but ye have set at naught or nothing all my counsel. So you didn't even take heed to the servants, the prophets that were prophesying to you throughout the word, that telling you that this devil is getting ready to roll in like a flood, and everything else that entails in prophecy. What it is, the mark of the beast, okay? Jacob's trouble, everything, all of his counsel. It says, I will also laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh, right? Why is ashes and earth proud, man? We gonna see why, okay? Because all that laughing and he and ha is gonna turn to what? Crying and whining. As it says, it's going to be a cry in the streets for wine, because people are going to want to know what's going on, but it's going to be too late. All right, this is the time to get the answers right now, not when all hell breaks loose. Okay, let's get that in Ecclesiasticus Sirach 10:9. This is in the Good News Translation. It reads, why are only dust and ashes Why? Let me read that again. Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 10 and 9. We are only dust and ashes. What have we got to be proud of? Our body decays even while we are alive. See, so why are ashes and earth proud, man? We ain't got the victory yet over this beast, over this system. We still subject to payments. We can pass at any time. Our bodies can let us down. Okay? We could be fine today and worse tomorrow. Our health can decay. Okay? Our wealth could be gone. Why is earth and ashes proud? Okay? Why? Because they are in the house of mirth. Okay? Speaking about our people, the 2/3, all right? Now, we understand why the other nations are happy because they got us in slavery, man. But why our people, the 2/3 of Israel, proud, knowing they in captivity, justifying it by black joy, all right? When we went into the connotations that go along with black, there's nothing joy about black, okay? Let's see if we can get this in a different translation. That's the Good News translation. Do they got the King James? Well, we just go to the verse itself and read it. Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, and we'll read it. Okay? Give me 1 second. It says, why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man. For such an one sitteth his own soul to sell, because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels. See? So as long as Jay could, make a living, $1 or $2, he'll sell his soul for everything. He'll sell his soul for a plate of joyness. Okay? That's why 2/3 is going to end up taking that charagma, that mark of the beast. That's why 2/3 of our people are going to end up taking that charagma, all right? Because they don't have no wherewithal of what's taking place. They see all. They're not even measuring the time. They don't even listen to the counsel of the Lord. So of course they're not measuring the time diligently. All right? Because if they did, they'll see the signs. All right? But they just got to play their role. They got to play their lot. Okay? They got to be destroyed. All right? So why is earth and ashes proud? Representing this flesh, this body. All right? Specifically our people. We ain't got it yet. We ain't been made perfect. All right? We were brought here to remember ourselves. We were brought here to remember who we are. Let's get that. Baruch 2 and 30. We weren't brought here to be, joyful and jovial and have a good time. That's not what we were brought here to the Americas for, or Azarach, as I believe it's called. This is Baruch 2 and 30. It says, for I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves, all right? And this is really referring to the elect. Only the elect is going to actually remember themselves and take heed to the warning and the advice that's given to them. The 2/3, they're going to continue to be 2/3. That's why they did 2/3, okay? So there's nothing that we can do except for continue to do the work and, bring it out until we can't do it no more. All right? Aparatus, our Father will, we endure to the end. Okay? And if it means that we have to live a boring and dull life, so be it. Okay? Let's get that. If I can remember it, it's peaceable. I know that's in it. This is 1 Timothy 2:2. It says, for kings and for all that are in authority, that we may lead a quiet and peaceable life in all godliness and honesty. See? So some people look at that and say, that's dull, that's boring. Who wants to live a peaceable and godliness and honest life? Well, the elect do. Okay? We don't need to be ripping and running all around, getting into all type of mischief and getting preoccupied and making the word second and third and fourth priority. No, the word is our number one priority, all right? Everything else follows into place afterwards, okay? So we have to prioritize that this truth comes first before all right? Even having a good time, okay? We have to put this truth before having a good time, all right? You might want to do something with your woman on the Sabbath, but you can't, have sex on the Sabbath because you're profaning the Sabbath. You're supposed to keep it holy. See? So we put this truth before all, even our own self, even our own family members, all right? But Jake, in the world, they want to, I get around to it when I do. I ain't worried about that. I got 10, 20 years for something happening. It might not even happen this lifetime. So I'm going to continue to have my fun and continue to relish in black joy, all right, which is the void of light, okay? And if they do so, they get exactly what they deserve. So let's finish up and close out with 1 Peter 5:8. This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. It reads, be sober, be vigilant. See? That black joy, it's no way you can be sober and vigilant if you are participating in black joy. All right? Because why? You don't have the understanding. You don't have the light. You have the void of light. You're absent of light, which is this truth. So it says, be sober, be vigilant. Okay? Because your adversary, the devil, they want you in that black joyful state. They want you under the assumption or illusion that you're black. Because there's nothing that comes along with being black. Okay, except for more blackness, more darkness, more murder, more evil, more despair. See, but when you return to your heritage, your culture, and you embrace who you are, a Hebrew Israelite, then they can't do nothing about it except for hate, man. All right, and we know the devil, we know these damn Edomites and these other nations they hating. All right, especially those of us that found out. They didn't want us to find out. They wanted to continue to make money and merchandise off of us. So it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. All right, so stay vigilant, man. F all that black joy, man. That shit ain't nothing anyways, okay? This place is almost finished, man. All right, so we're going to end on that note. And with that being said, pray some more of us edify through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We're almost home. Shalom. Peace.